Is Plan B better than Booksmart? Let's talk about it.
We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
23.
Hey, what's up you guys? This is Steffi, aka In My Humble Opinion, and welcome back to another IMHO Film Club movie review. In today's video, I am so excited to talk about a movie that is now available to watch on Hulu today. Yes, if you have a Hulu account, you can watch this movie right now, and that movie is called Plan B. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I haven't heard this movie being promoted at all. This is probably the first time you're hearing about this movie because it wasn't until a couple weeks ago when I was kind of looking through Hulu's website to see what the upcoming releases were going to be that I even discovered that this film existed. So we're gonna talk about this movie, and maybe after watching this review you can decide if you wanna watch it or not. So Plan B stars Kuhu Verma, Victoria Morales, Michael Provost, Mason Cook, Edie Patterson, and Rachel Dratch. The movie was directed by Natalie Morales, who you guys may probably recognize from Dead to Me or Parks and Recreation, and like Olivia Wilde, she is now taking her foray into directing. So Plan B was written by Joshua Levy and Prathiksha Srinivasan. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. I am so sorry. Plan B is a coming-of-age comedy that follows a straight-laced high school student and her slacker best friend who, after a regrettable first sexual encounter, have 24 hours to hunt down a Plan B pill in America's heartland. So as in all my movie reviews here on this channel, I'm going to be talking about my personal pros and cons, and then I'm going to give my overall rating and review. But before we get into this review, I just want to say a big thank you to Hulu for sending me an advanced screener of this movie. I'm really, once again, grateful anytime a network or a studio is willing to send me an advanced screener, since I am a very small YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Hulu, for being open to working with me. And I also want to say too, before we get into this review, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button while you're down there, that would be greatly appreciated, because other people who are into movies like you could then find this channel as well, and it just really helps our community grow here on YouTube. But now, with that being said, let's get into this review. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros. So my first pro to this movie is that this movie features women of color leads. I think it's really rare that you see a woman of color as the lead of a coming-age film, let alone two women of color, and that's the case in Plan B. So our leads are Kuhu Verma and Victoria Morales, and Kuhu Verma plays a young girl named Sunny who is of South Asian descent, and her best friend in the movie is played by Natalie Morales, who plays the character of Lupe, who is of Latin descent. And some of their cultural upbringing and background is referenced, and it obviously plays into who these characters are, but I wouldn't say it's a vital part of the story. To me personally, I feel like just because you have people of color who are in your movie, who are in your story, that doesn't necessarily mean that their entire existence and purpose in the story relies on their cultural background, unless that's what the story is mainly about. So for me, you know, I didn't really have a problem with that. I've watched some other reviews where they brought this up and they said that they wish they would have played more into that aspect, but for me, I think they did just fine, and I wasn't really bothered by that. My second pro to this movie is that this movie features new talent. Some of you guys may actually recognize Victoria Morales because she's been in Teen Wolf, but our main lead, Kuhu Verma, she played, I guess, a very small role in The Big Sick, which I saw, but I don't really remember her in the movie. No shade, but I just don't really remember her. So other than that though, she's pretty much a brand new face. And again, that's amazing to remember when you consider the fact that she is like the lead of this movie. And my third pro of this movie is the female friendship. So the female friendship between Lupe and Sunny is really the heart of this movie. I think our two leads have really great chemistry with one another. There's lots of moments throughout the movie where they have funny back and forth banter, and then they get into these crazy situations and then more hijinks ensues, and just seeing these two characters kind of figure out how they're gonna get out of a situation is really, really fun. But I do think the friendship in this movie is very sweet. It's very endearing. They are ride or die for each other, and there are quite literally some things that they are willing to do for one another. And when you see some of the situations that they get into, you're just like, oh my god, wow, that's real friendship. Alright, so now let's get into some of the cons. So I really only have one con for this movie, but it's a big con, and it's the fact that Plan B is very formulaic. So immediately while I was watching the movie, and I would even say within like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh, this reminds me a lot of Booksmart. And I actually did a review on Booksmart. I'll link it up here if you want to watch that. But I really, really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really, really fun, even though, yes, that movie, that story is something that we have seen before. The way it was directed by Olivia Wilde, she just did such a great job at executing a typical idea that it just made that movie really stand out and be really memorable and fun. And I've also seen a lot of people online compare Plan B to another movie called Unpregnant, which I personally haven't seen, but I'm just referencing it for this video. But I feel like when you watch Plan B, this movie didn't necessarily do anything new or innovative. It's just another typical buddy comedy road trip where you see these two young characters run into different obstacles and encounter crazy characters. But going back to the Booksmart comparison, the thing with Booksmart is while the story again wasn't necessarily brand new, the execution was just really well done and it was funny. But I feel like I can't really say the same for Plan B. I think the execution was just fine, but it wasn't something that was necessarily memorable. And while I did laugh a couple of times throughout the movie because there are genuinely like funny situations and funny things that the characters say, I wasn't like hysterically laughing. Alright, so my overall rating and review for Plan B. Well, Plan B has a lot of elements that I really love supporting. Women of color leads and female friendship at its core. While the movie was fun and there were some unexpected character developments that I was like, I did not see that coming, it's a movie that feels very familiar and that I have seen before. I would still recommend watching Plan B though if you have time to spare. Just don't expect anything super brand new or game-changing to the teen buddy comedy genre. And because of that, I'm gonna give Plan B a solid B. And alright, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please turn on the notification button down below so you know when a new video from me comes out. And comment down below, have you ever heard of this movie, Plan B, before watching this review? Genuinely am curious because, again, I have not seen this movie being promoted at all, which I think is a shame. I know they have a lot of competition, considering that at least here in the United States, specifically here in California, movie theaters are starting to open up again, so I feel like a lot of people really want to go to the movie theaters this weekend, and there's a lot of different movies coming out, but I kind of wish Hulu did put a little bit more effort in trying to promote this movie. So yeah, let me know, have you ever heard of Plan B, the movie, prior to watching this review? And if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all my humble opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!